Hey Thumbers, welcome back to another episode of Hyper Heroes here on Hyper RPG. Bazing, bazing, bazing. Energy. Look at Naeem sitting back there charging his phone, eating some gummy bears.
This smells good.
Ooh,
Smell
what is
that.
that?
Speaking of
I wish my
gummy
burp smelled
bears,
like that.
Look at this. Smell that.
Oh, yours smells much better than mine.
What does yours smell like?
Nothing.
Like pee-pee?
It's nothing. It's
Let me smell it.
I just peed in it. It's not as good as
beer.
yeah.
It's like a little
Yours is like
cherry
a
beer.
Yours
Cherry
is a
blossom.
juice.
Like nothing either. Like
I'm
nothing
drinking
either.
juice.
What is
That does smell
what is
really
juice?
good.
I want that purple drink.
Like Rumpelstiltskin? Yeah, like Rumpelstiltskin. Good.
Oh god, you missed out, man. You didn't get to watch the Ant-Man trailer with us. What did you think of it?
No.
Did you watch it?
I saw it
What'd you think?
with you guys.
Okay. What'd you think? Be real. Because
so-
we talked about how you didn't like the first Ant-Man trailer.
I did not like the
Yeah.
well. Part of the reason why I didn't like why I had a bad taste in my mouth about Ant-Man before is because of all the pre-production problems.
Sure.
Obviously,
And
lots
we
of
heard
problems.
about it.
Nobody likes
Edgar
losing
Wright.
Edgar Wright. All this stuff. Blah blah blah. I called it Marvel's first flop. It was not. I loved Ant-Man 1. This Ant-Man 2 trailer, I was not blown away by, actually.
Okay.
They showed some really cool stuff. I love Ghost. Seeing Ghost was awesome. I think that was my favorite part.
And I don't even think I bet you most people that'll see that trailer won't even realize that's a woman.
Right,
Like
exactly.
it's gonna be a female villain
Exactly.
character. So like, it's
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
had people
cool,
reaching
cool.
out on Twitter who were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
who's
they
the
were like,
villain
"Who's
played by?"
Ghost?" Yeah,
Cool,
and then
so-
some people in the comments saying that they were like, "Oh, quick, good eye on catching Ghost there," because not a lot of people even realize who that
It's
is. But even though I wasn't blown away, you have to think about the timing at which this comes out. Like Black Panther is still not out yet. You don't want to take any attention away from Black Panther, but you want to give us
might
some
be right.
nom-noms, like something to chew on. You know, like. We haven't gotten anything from Han Solo, and that worries me. Like
Yeah.
we got a little
We're
bit.
gonna get into that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So we got a little bit from Ant-Man, and it didn't blow me away, but I'm fine with it. What I saw from it was great. I think it's going to be a great movie. I like the direction that they're going in it. I really like Wasp's sort of like the presence that they gave her in this movie or in this trailer was actually really cool. Like
It
when
feels
when
like
she
it's
says,
like-
he says if you would have come, or if I would have asked you would you have come, he's like, you wouldn't have got caught.
Yeah.
Duh, because you're a better Ant-Man than Ant-Man is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I like where they're going. I can't wait to see. This is one of those trailers where I'm like, I need more. Like I need more of this. I need more context, and I want to see what Michael Peña's up to. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's like in a
We didn't
really,
see,
really cool
we didn't see
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
No,
So we don't know what element
she
in
might be Ghost.
she's not.
I know.
She's not Ghost.
I know she's not
So
Ghost.
funny.
I'm just saying.
She's gonna show up as Catwoman. No, I think
Yeah,
you're right,
no.
Augustine. I feel like I liked the trailer too, but it's tough to match that hype level of Panther or Infinity War.
Yeah,
And it feels like it wasn't even trying to do that.
yeah, exactly.
And I think that the next trailer 2,
Right.
needs to do something special. Needs to
Yes.
show us like the new genre, whether
Right.
it's romantic comedy or whatever.
Right.
Like it needs to be like, here's why this movie exists.
It needs to. So I feel like this trailer didn't have its voice. I felt like this trailer was just like, here's Ant-Man. The next trailer needs to be like, this is Ant-Man, and this is the tone. Like this is our voice. This is what we're gonna say. But you can't do that right now because of this spot you're in, where you have Black Panther and
Sure.
Infinity War still haven't dropped yet.
We didn't
so-
even consider the fact that they purposefully maybe are withholding stuff because they're
yeah,
trying to
dude.
point eyes towards
Yeah,
So
towards
that
this
might be the
movement
case.
that is Black Panther.
Yeah.
You cannot take
Yeah.
away from that.
Plus, I mean, that's just how the marketing works. They're going to
Yeah.
use sort of Black Panther to promote Avengers: Infinity War and Ant-Man and the Wasp. But in order to do that, in order to put a trailer in theaters, you know, they usually do a pre-release on the internet.
yeah.
So I think it would have been
Yeah.
really weird if the Marvel was like, you're going to see the trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, but you're not going to see it until you see Black Panther.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of feel like that's just not a thing that Marvel Studios
Right.
does. They're really good at kind of
Right.
releasing the trailers for their
Yeah.
movies prior to or attaching it to another Marvel movie. And I think once we get to Infinity War, we'll
Yeah.
get the second trailer or
Yeah.
I guess another trailer for
Well,
Ant-Man and the
I
Wasp.
think because this one, like you said, Hector, it wasn't in that 2 minutes and 30 seconds that
That's
you
that
liked.
sweet spot.
It wasn't in there,
It
and
was
I
what,
think
140?
Yeah.
With that extra 50 seconds, we could have gotten Michelle Pfeiffer. We could have gotten more Michael Douglas. We could have gotten,
in trailer time, yes,
Yes.
50 seconds is a lot. So I feel like this was just to give us a little taste, see what it tastes like, a little taste of the glory.
just remind us that it exists.
Yeah,
and it'll
exactly.
come
To
out
just to
later.
say like, hey
Yeah.
guys, we haven't forgotten. We
Yeah.
know Black Panther and Infinity War are on their way. Just check this out. Put that bookmark. Dog ear it. Was that what they say? Dog ear it for later. Yeah.
Put a
Kaiju,
pin
get
in
the
it.
fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Boy.
Kaiju.
The reception on Black Panther so far has been extremely positive.
Oh my gato.
So that's really good. A lot
my
of people,
gato.
Can't wait.
A lot of people who've gone to the premiere or the press screenings have really enjoyed the movie.
What's the plan? When are you guys gonna go see it? You're gonna go see it,
I mean, I'm signed up to see it
Monday?
on Monday with Naeem.
and
on
you're
the
a
5th.
week from Tuesday.
I'm on February 13th. Adam and Naeem February 5th.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday. Okay. Dang, that's close.
I might have to wait for opening night.
That's
on
fine.
this one.
I mean,
That's
we
fine.
bought our tickets for opening
Yeah,
night
I still
anyway.
have my tickets.
I know.
I still have my tickets with you guys, so it's
And
fine.
I'm so bummed, but another part of me is like, well, I'll be seeing it with that full opening
Yeah,
night theater, and it's
yeah.
always a little different vibe when we go to a screening. When
Oh,
it's-
yeah, very
100%.
different,
I absolutely refuse to not. If it's a big movie that I'm really anticipating or looking forward to, or if it's a movie that's like an important movie for the
Yeah.
year, I definitely like going to the press screening because I get to kind of enjoy it and just really absorb the movie.
Right.
And the second time going, you get to sort of
With that
absorb all the extra
audience.
parts of the movie that you maybe missed the first time, and you get to experience it with the audience. And
Yes, the vibe.
yeah, anytime you do a Star Wars, a DC, or a Marvel movie, like
Yeah.
any of those big franchise
Yeah.
movies, with a first night crowd, those are always sort of the best experiences.
Yeah, definitely. There's something to say about like getting the energy of a room
Yeah.
and like feeling
Mhm.
people, because I mean we're spoiled. We get to see the movies beforehand,
Yeah,
like
we're lucky,
sometimes weeks in advance. So
Yeah.
we're kind of like, it's coming out, cool. We're excited for it, but it doesn't have that same energy that somebody who doesn't have this access is like, I'm waiting till February 15th, and it's gonna be the greatest day of my life.
That
So
night
it's
is
good to go
going
with those kind of
to
people.
Be lit.
Yeah.
Black Panther so
Yeah.
lit. It's gonna be awesome.
National holiday, calling it
Yeah,
out.
those are
National
my
holiday.
favorite. I mean,
Yeah.
again, like the press screenings are fun. They're great. I love being able to get it early. Plus, it allows us opportunities to sort of put together like what we want to discuss about the movie and how we want to discuss
Yeah, exactly.
it.
Exactly.
I
But
was already making plans today. We got to go see it with Pooch. And his
Oh,
wife. We got to go
absolutely.
see it. We got to go see
Absolutely.
it. So Pooch is already like, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm going to see
Yeah.
this movie at least 3 times in theaters.
Yeah, it's
At
going to be a
at a
multiple
minimum.
multiple watcher for
I
sure.
think I
exactly.
saw Wonder Woman 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I'm
quite a
feeling like
few.
that's now become my standard of like when I love a movie, I'll go see it that many times in
Yeah.
theaters. Really, no more.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll wait for the Blu-ray. in a
Yeah,
couple
you can
months
wait.
and-
You can
Yeah.
wait. By the way, they're bringing back Coco this weekend for this weekend only in 3D. Adam, if you haven't seen it
Nope,
yet,
sure haven't.
oh my
mother.
But I did watch. I did watch 3 good ass.
this to me,
I did watch 3 good ass movies today. Call
What'd
Me
you
by
watch?
Your Name, Shape of Water, and Detroit.
Okay.
Had you not seen Shape
Damn.
of Water?
No, I hadn't.
It's good. Augustine,
Really
have you seen
good.
that one yet?
I haven't seen. No, I saw Shape of Water.
Okay.
It's good. I have not seen Detroit yet.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
want to
one
see
good?
Detroit. I want to see. How was it?
I hear it's fantastic.
Really good.
John Boyega.
Really good. That movie could have very easily taken the 10th spot for Best Picture.
Ooh,
Great.
I hear.
So
I hear
good.
good
Fucking movie
things.
stars.
Out of
I love
all
John
3 of those
Boyega.
movies,
Yeah.
we'll talk about in Cineverse, but out of all 3 of those movies,
Yeah.
that was the one that like there was a moment. There's a couple moments in there where I was like,
Yeah.
emotions.
That's great.
Really strong. I wasn't suffocating. That was me getting emotional. The first thing that we're going to talk about, very interesting story, is sort of a just
Interesting.
God, Lord, really, why? Rotten Tomatoes-
It is interesting. It is interesting.
Rotten Tomatoes came out sort of against this Facebook group that is trying to do their best to boycott and or downvote the Black Panther audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wait, Rotten Tomatoes came out against them? Did
Yes.
they make a statement or
Yes.
something?
They did.
They did. Mhm.
Yes. Since then, this group's Facebook page or group account has been closed.
Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes. So basically, this group was called Down with Disney's Treatment of Franchises and its Fanboys. And the group is attempting to flood Rotten Tomatoes with poor audience scores for the superhero movie Black Panther, which is apparently on track to open at over $130 million opening weekend. So that's already incredible. I hate saying it, but a lot of these people are DC Comics, DC movie fans.
Self-proclaimed.
I'm not even gonna go the DC route. I'm not saying that group is racist, but
Well,
like,
I think it honestly.
why this movie all of a sudden?
Yeah.
In
I
all
think there's
honesty,
something to
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I think it spreads even further than just Black Panther. But I feel like because of how big of a movement this movie is and how big of a deal it is, I feel like they thought this was their perfect opportunity to sort of strike, because this is the same group that was already doing with Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Okay, so it was the same group. So we've heard of them before.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's
okay,
the same group
okay.
that was trying to put the kibosh on Star Wars: The Last Jedi because it was a movie that I guess didn't do what they wanted it to do, and because of how obviously certain movies of other franchises feel like how they've been treated by critics and fans. So it's all ridiculous. But Rotten Tomatoes came out and they said, "We at Rotten Tomatoes are proud to have become a platform for passionate fans to debate and discuss entertainment, and we take the responsibility seriously.
Responsibility. Thank you.
While
Yeah.
we respect our fans' diverse opinions, we do not condone hate speech. Our team of security, network, and social experts continue to closely monitor our platforms, and any users who engage in such activities will be blocked from our site and their comments removed as quickly as possible.
Yep.
And now,
That's great.
obviously, because of Mark Zuckerberg's sort of stance on Facebook and really wanting to remove hate speech and sort of bigotry and racism, all that sort of stuff from the Facebook platform.
Oh, hey, Mark.
I think them,
Hi, Mark.
putting the kibosh on this group.
Where were you 2 years ago, bud?
Yeah,
Putting
right?
the kibosh on this group is sort of their response to, yes, we are trying to really do this. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that we now live in a world where
Yeah.
this is sort of people's priority. That these are the types of things that people invest their time into.
I also think it's you guys are right. It is
Yeah.
an interesting story because Rotten Tomatoes actually responded
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
Facebook actually closed this group.
Right.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
That makes me feel like, oh shit, we've heard this story before time and time again with every big thing, whatever the thing is, but nobody ever did anything about it. And here
Right.
are these big companies coming out and being like, don't do this.
Right.
And I know that a lot of these people might affiliate themselves with being a DC fan and this is against Marvel. You're not a DC fan if you act like this.
Right.
You're not I've seen on social media there was an article that was gathering DC fans' responses to Black Panther. And at first you're like, but you click on it and what it is this movie's going to break all the records and I want this same thing for the characters I love over here too.
Exactly.
I hope that this thing does buku bucks so that we get a Static Shock movie, so that Cyborg movie happens, so that, all of these things happen for the characters they love too. And that's the attitude that I think comic book fans...
Those are the DC fans that I want to affiliate myself
Yes,
with.
the ones that realize a rising tide raises all boats. You want these things to be successful because without the success, however it was measured, of Luke Cage, without even the green lighting of that show, would we have gotten Black Lightning as part of the Arrowverse? Maybe, I don't know. But we need these things to continue to happen. And people need to... And I think DC fans know that these Marvel films are finally getting made for some great characters, some obscure characters, but some great... We're getting Ghost in an Ant-Man sequel.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
And I think DC fans love their characters so much that they're like, we want to see Doom Patrol, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, Plastic Man, Hawkman, all of these different characters, along with the Aquamans and the rest of this, DC films universe, whatever it's going to be.
Parasite,
But
Brainiac, all
we
these
want to
other
see
villains,
Man of Steel too. We want it, they want it. So for those... And we said this before, for those movies to happen eventually down the line, which I want them to so badly, superhero movies need to continue to be successful, period.
Absolutely.
So you
It doesn't
can't-
matter
you
what
shouldn't-
company's attached to
You
it.
shouldn't root against the thing. I want Valiant movies to crush it. And it's like, for that to happen, there needs to keep being superhero movies from the big two until it gets to a point where Valiant can come into the game. And,
where it opens the doors for all the smaller companies that can push out. Say Marvel were to come to a point where it could just push out a movie like a one-off movie and have it be successful, you can imagine what it would do for Valiant, what it would do for all these smaller companies. The Invincible movie, I want that movie to crush so hard because it's the greatest comic that has ever been created. I feel like they're missing the point.
Yes.
It's like you don't really understand. Like they come from a place in which they feel so entitled that it doesn't fit their own narrative, that they're just like, nope, nothing else can be successful. And you don't realize how damaging that is. Like, I don't think they even realize how damaging that could be in your personal life, let alone like on a bigger scale with these movies and the whole
movies that are
environment.
fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and these movies that are about characters that are supposed to be teaching people right from wrong.
yes, exactly.
And all of this stuff is tied into those same movements that have been happening online.
Right.
Things like Gamergate, things like all of these things. And if these people who call themselves DC fans really were, instead of just like a certain group of movies, they would, if they really believed what they believe, they would hate DC Comics itself, because DC Comics just recruited Brian Michael Bendis, #1 Marvel writer for 10 years. You've got the editors at DC calling this guy and being like, hey, they're all friends. You have to
they
understand
all know
that.
each other.
And he's going to come over and work on Superman. So if you
Lawrence
really
Fishburne
felt...
is in Ant-Man.
If you really felt like, and there's been so many actors in DC superhero
So
movies
many
that were first in
crossovers.
Marvel, they're all friends and they don't give a shit about this. And if you really felt this way, you would be boycotting DC. But that's the
As
thing
a
you say
whole.
that you love. Yeah,
Right.
for even like entertaining the fact of like, let's bring over some people that worked on Marvel Comics as writers and artists. It's like,
exactly.
you
Jim
can't
Lee,
But they don't
do
see
that.
that.
co-publisher of DC Comics. I wonder
Gotta
what.
start at Marvel.
Oh, doing which?
X-Men, highest selling comic to date.
Ooh.
So,
Like,
so shut the fuck up. You need to shut the fuck up. Who the fuck said that?
shut the fuck up.
Huh? Who the fuck said that?
Oil, what?
It's ridiculous, and I think the thing that sucks the most, in my opinion, is there are a lot of DC fans out there who are very level-headed. They love the DC movies that they love. They don't like the DC movies that they don't love. They feel the same way about Marvel, the same way about Star Wars.
Right.
There are people who, quite frankly, I think also just don't have a loud voice on the internet because they're happy with what they get, and if there are things that they're unhappy with, then they're fine with that too.
Yeah, and part of the problem is that it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. There's not a lot of these guys out there, but they are loud when they talk. Like they are very, very vocal, and that's the problem. And part of the problem with giving them a voice like that by maybe sometimes ignoring it.
Watching Naeem and Matt move furniture is hilarious.
By giving them a voice in a way you legitimize what they're saying, you know, like there was a good move on Rotten Tomatoes' part to just be like, squash it. Facebook, squash it. But other people, like, I don't want to point out who should be in charge of this, because that's a whole nother discussion. But there needs to be some kind of realization that some of these people who are screaming and yelling about things not going their way, life doesn't always go your way, buddy. Like, I'm sorry.
And I know there's a lot of people probably watching who are saying like, well, you're also giving this attention. We're giving it attention because we feel like you guys should be made aware of this. And if you have a strong, rational sort of opinion about superhero movies and what you like and don't like, create discussions out of it. Don't belittle people because their opinion is different than yours. Have very civil discussions. I mean, there's been plenty of times on Twitter where we've had discussions with people about DC movies, Marvel movies, Star Wars stuff. They're very civil. They're very respectful. We go back and forth. Sometimes we agree to disagree, but that's kind of the whole point of discussing movies. Is you don't always have to come to an agreement, but as long as you sort of have a civil discourse about it, then it's fine. But it's these people on Twitter and Facebook and stuff who come after you because you have a different opinion, because you like a style of movie one way, because you have a character preference another way, and they come at you because it's like, well, that's not what I like. I like this thing. I'm like, you're free to like something else.
Yeah, like whatever you want.
Exactly.
But it's not whatever.
It is what it is.
It doesn't. I don't even want to get into it anymore.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
Still,
we made our
point.
point.
Good discussion,
Move on
guys.
from the squeaky wheel.
You guys made some great points.
I'm pretty excited about Monday if this comes true. Apparently, on Monday we're gonna get the first full trailer for Solo, a Star Wars story. Apparently, we're going to get a little teaser on Sunday. Disney has bought 2 Super Bowl spots. A lot of speculation was that it was going to be for Black Panther as a final push, which, look, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think at this point, everyone and their mother knows that Black Panther is coming out. But I think if you want to use one of those spots and you want to get to some of those parts of America who may not be as fully aware as to the Marvel lineup of movies this year, then I think it's a great tactic to use. There are also some rumors that they're going to use it to promote a new Avengers Infinity War spot, which I think would also be
so what you're saying is that we should call in sick to work on Monday to try and film stuff here.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you should, but
I'll be around.
Yeah. Okay.
Sunday night,
okay.
we can maybe meet up Sunday night.
if the trailer comes out on Sunday, maybe.
Yeah, if the trailer comes out Sunday.
Yeah. So apparently it's gonna
Monday,
apparently it's gonna premiere on Good Morning
Is
America.
Super Bowl Sunday? When is
Super
the
Bowl Sunday is on a Friday, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You're fucking with me. I don't know when the Super Bowl is.
That just goes to show you how many people in this house watch sports.
Yeah.
Super Bowl Sunday is on Sunday.
Okay, great.
It's this Sunday.
Cool.
Which I don't know. Maybe we should.
What are
watch
the
Super Bowl
teams
here.
even playing? What teams are playing?
The Chicago Snakes and the LA Scorpions.
Oh shit! I'm giving it to the Scorps this year, dude.
Scorps.
Scorps are taking it.
Tom Brady's a great part of the score.
Oh yeah, dude. LA
It's
Scorps.
Fom Brady.
Fom Brady. Yeah, man. I wish that those are the names. That'd be so cool.
I know, right?
Would you say Detroit
Chicago-
Snakes?
Chicago Snakes?
Yeah. That sounds like Globo Gym teams. What they sound like. Yeah.
The Globo Gym Purple Cobras.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What are you guys
Average
hoping to
Joes.
catch out of this trailer? Do you want a full 2:30? I mean, at this point, don't they kind of have
Dude,
to?
they have to.
I'm gonna tell. Ooh, yes.
They have to.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking for. Because I've heard some rumors. Okay, we're living in LA. We might know some people that might know some stuff. Let's all take it with a grain of salt. But I've heard that the movie is actually awesome. But it is awesome because of Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian.
My new
Do you know what I'm saying?
man crush.
Do you know what I'm saying?
My new
It's
man
like,
crush.
Where I've heard that like maybe the weakest part of the film is Han himself in the sort of character performance, whatever you want to call it. But the supporting cast is so strong. And I hear that and I'm like, that sounds like that could be right. That sounds like an oddly specific like rumor that I'm kind of like And again, it just gives me hope and makes me excited to see Donald Glover in the role.
Yeah.
And it makes me a little trepidatious about the guy who's replacing Harrison Ford, which is so
Mm-hmm.
iconic. You know, I love Billy D. But I feel like his what we saw of him in those 2 movies was like good, but not enough.
It wasn't
I
it
wanna
wasn't
see more.
iconic like Han Solo was.
Not in that
You
way.
know, it
And
wasn't
he
that
was
level.
especially great in Empire and had some of the best lines, but it's still a thing of like, maybe because I've just experienced more Han Solo in like the expanded universe. I literally read the Han Solo books to where it's his childhood, that I feel like I know Han's life.
Right.
That I'm like, why are y'all doing this movie? But as far
Right.
as Lando, I'm like, yeah. I'll take more Lando. I love the Lando comic that Marvel put out. It was dope. 5 issues that took place before Empire Strikes Back. Anyway, the point is that's what I heard. So I want to see 2 things. I want to see some Lando, and the second thing I want to see is I want to see this Western genre.
Right.
This make it look like a Western, right? If they can convey that in 2 minutes 30 seconds, like
I mean, who knows if that's still the case?
Yeah.
When you have the director, when you have Ron Howard now replacing Lord
Yeah.
Miller, how
has
is
Ron
that sort
Howard
of
ever directed a Western?
a Western? One doesn't come to mind
It's
immediately.
not a Western. It's sci-fi. It's fantasy.
It's
Whatever.
sci-fi
but you know what I
Western,
mean? Like,
sure.
like
It's
Rogue
like
One was
Serenity.
like the war movie.
Yeah.
Right.
So this spinoff is supposed to be the
Yeah,
Western.
yeah, for sure.
I want to see that.
I'm and I think, you know, there's been a lot of speculation as to why there's been no promotional material, no poster, no nothing, no trailer, no nothing at all. And a lot of it is because, you know, we are still sort of in Star Wars The Last Jedi territory. The movie is still debuting and premiering overseas. China has the movie kind of came and went in China. So they were waiting for this. Apparently they were waiting for sort of Star Wars The Last Jedi, the hype to kind of pass. But with all the production problems, I mean, if it was really that, then why would you sort of let your own movie cannibalize the other upcoming movie? Wouldn't you just push that movie off and wait another 6 months and release in December,
Or
especially when there's nothing
Attach
really?
that trailer to The Last Jedi, you know?
Right.
To like, and didn't they do that with the last Star Wars movie?
Something.
Wasn't
I don't think they
wasn't
did.
wasn't there a
Oh,
trailer
Rogue
for The
One?
Last Jedi in front of Rogue One or no?
I don't think so.
I'm not
A
sure,
year
'cause
out?
it's like a
We
year.
I remember the first time I saw it on the screen, there was no trailers. Obviously,
No,
it was
because
on a
the
screening.
first
Yeah.
teaser premiered actually at Star Wars Celebration in April.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's just
Yeah.
so weird, and I mean,
Considering
yeah,
this is coming out in May. Sure.
Yeah,
And
in just a
considering
couple
it's a
months.
Star Wars franchise, dude, they have all the Star Wars money in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on here? That's what gets me. It's like where is this? What's going on behind the scenes that
Mm-hmm.
you have Disney money, which is basically all the money in the
Mhm.
world,
Mhm.
and like you can't give us something? What's going on? It's the same thing that I thought when Ant-Man kind of was
Right.
having
Mhm.
its production
Mhm.
problems. Like, you guys are worrying me right now. There's usually Star Wars has a huge lead up specifically for your character Han Solo. You're giving us nothing until now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's worrying.
little
It's
worrisome.
definitely worrying.
I hope that whatever we get on Sunday, even if it's just a 30-second tease, and at
Cool.
the end it's just like Monday full trailer, totally fine.
Okay, all right, I could take that.
I really just hope that on Monday, when if and when that trailer comes, that it's a full 2:30 and we get some goodness. I want to
Yeah.
see Han Solo. I want to see Lando Calrissian. I want to see Chewie. All the supporting characters. Maybe some
what's
of the
the
world.
story? How young is this guy?
Yeah.
Why does this exist? Give me that flavor. What
after-
planets are we
After
on?
this year's Grammys and after
Donald Glover.
Don Glover
Dude.
showed up in that orangey pink suit, I'm like, I
That
want you
Black
to be
Panther?
my best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to be my best
And
friend.
now he's going off to shoot the Lion King.
Yeah. Yeah, in the Grammy performance, he sang,
Yep.
but he also
With
brought the
young
kid
Simba.
who was young Simba up on
Yeah.
stage, and he sang, and it's just
Oh.
like, this guy
Oh.
can do no wrong right
Yeah,
now.
I
he's so
responded to that
talented.
video, and I think all I wrote was that Lion King Oscar nominated or Oscar winning soundtrack for sure or whatever.
Yeah.
It was, but it got like
God.
500
If
likes
you
or
have
something.
if you have Donald Glover, that man, I've
That Simba
realized that he
song-
was so talented.
Yeah.
But he is hitting this stride where he's just
Mhm.
like, he's a genius.
And
He's-
Atlanta,
yeah.
And even his early work, his
He's
little
an
his
absolute
writing
genius.
and his little appearances on 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
fucking Community.
Dude's
The
a
guy
genius.
can do it all. Triple
Absolute
threat.
genius.
That Simba song is gonna be so goddamn sexy when he's singing it. Do you know what I mean?
Everybody's gonna be singing
Simba's just gonna open up his mouth. Late night. We're all gonna be like, oh,
it. Oh, I got the vapors.
oh man, he's gonna get on Nala like, I will.
And Hector's gonna be like, move, Nala.
Yeah, it's gonna be so hot.
girl.
Damn.
Come at me, Donald Glover.
Oh, man.
You want it? Nala's gonna be like, why are you singing so high? You can have it. Hey, I can have it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so sexy.
No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I hope he does the soundtrack to the Han Solo movie now.
Oh God, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
As
Lando
as
Calrissian?
Lando Calrissian,
Yeah,
though.
that'd be amazing.
Like he does a full album as Lando
That would be
for
great.
Han Solo.
Mhm.
Speaking of prequels, I'm sure you guys are super stoked for Metropolis, the upcoming Superman prequel coming to
So
DC's digital
stoked.
service
I'm partying already.
from the creators of
Me-
Gotham.
Me and Lucas are partying so hard already.
This is
Lucas,
a-
you
this
partying?
This is tough. This is
partying.
tough for me. This is real tough for me.
Explain.
Because I love Superman.
Because you're going to be working on it.
Because no,
No, no, we're not in VFX anymore,
I-
Adam.
Yeah, right.
It's okay.
man, if I were working on Metropolis, oh boy, again,
Hector,
like-
if you were still in VFX, you would be hating your life.
but like if I were in the writers' room,
Okay.
Now remember we talked about Krypton and we were like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
The point of this show? Krypton's going to explode, and then we found out Adam Strange has to ensure that the planet will explode
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it has been prevented by a villain that went back in time. I was like, oh,
That's interesting.
okay,
Yeah.
but Metropolis is here on Earth.
This is literally just before
it's,
Superman
it's,
shows up.
it's Gotham. It's the show Gotham, which isn't Gotham Central, which isn't which is baby Bruce Wayne. So he's limited in that he cannot be Batman, and it's a Batman show without Batman. And there's a lot there, and its tone is wildly all over the place. And this is from the makers of Gotham,
Mhm.
and apparently it's going to feature Lois Lane and Lex Luthor as they investigate the world of fringe science and expose the city's dark and bizarre
It
secrets.
almost made him vomit.
Right? I have a feeling that the show is just going to be B footage of Los Angeles green screened onto Toronto. And it's just going to be like cityscapes and like people walking and like what happens before.
It's
Why
crazy,
do we
man.
care about
So,
Metropolis before Superman
He
gets
got a
there?
direct-to-series order of 13 episodes. Again, it's going to premiere on the streaming service sometime next year.
Okay.
It's going to start filming later this year, so I'm sure in the next 3-4 months we'll start hearing about casting.
Maybe a
but
premise,
like listen
like
to the, I mean, this is
a
apparently
bigger premise.
Just listen to this for a second. It promises to show us a wondrous and awe-inspiring city of tomorrow. So this is just a show about a city before the emergence of Superman and establish much of the Man of Steel's world leading up to his arrival. I gotta tell you something. The Man of Steel lives in two worlds. He lives in the Metropolis City, but he's also like in the Fortress of Solitude or out in space or at the Justice League headquarters. Or that's the world that Superman is a part of. The city, Metropolis, is a stand-in for every city in the United States. It's a
Exactly.
stand-in for New York. It's a stand-in for
That's
Chicago.
why I
a
said it's
stand-in
going to be LA green screened onto Toronto.
Why are you... And again, even the notion of trying to do this at Gotham, which is like, let's build up the villains, but not have them be the full... fuck it. They're going to be the full villains before Batman ever even shows up. It's this idea of like, what... Gotham City, after Batman shows up, is fascinating. Before
Right.
Batman shows up, is kind of just a tragic, boring ramp up
Yes.
to a point where Batman needs to show
Right.
up.
Right.
What is in Metropolis? So Lex Luthor's going to be investigating fringe science. Let me guess. There's going to be scientific experiments, and then like Doomsday will accidentally be created, or there'll be Superman villain Parasite will be there, but he's not going to. Nobody can
But no
contain him, or
Superman,
like.
yeah.
And Lois Lane is going to be an investigative reporter, and that's that. The Daily Planet supporting cast fascinating, but after the world of Superman showing up and like bringing
He's the catalyst.
He's the catalyst
Right.
for the entire DC universe.
Right.
Superman first appearing means Batman shows up in Gotham a few weeks or months later. Wonder Woman shows up from Themyscira. Hal Jordan gets a Green Lantern ring. Barry Allen gets struck by lightning. That all happens. That's the order of it. This is just going to be a city. Like, and again, this would be interesting, but it's like we had 10 seasons of Smallville.
Yeah.
Didn't they already do this? Adam, didn't they do this? They never did it with
Adam,
Gotham.
have you heard of the show Smallville?
But you're a fan, right? You like Smallville?
do you
I
like
love Smallville?
Oh, okay.
And I think
Okay.
it's and to me that's sort of the thing that is frustrating to me, because why do we need to do? I feel like DC for whatever reason is just avoiding Superman. In the comics, they bring in Brian Michael Bendis to do this new
Superman.
retelling of his
Yes.
origin.
Take it
They're
head
so-
on.
Giving his chonies back.
They're
Yeah.
celebrating,
1,000. Yeah.
80 years of Superman. Action Comics number 1,000.
Yeah.
Superman is like some of it's going back to ones. And why is there no Man of Steel sequel announcement? Why are you giving us a Metropolis prequel? So
And
like,
a Krypton prequel.
yeah,
and
it's
a
like,
Krypton.
why do
why?
this? Why
Just,
about that?
just give us Superman. Just give us fucking Superman. That's all I want.
I was about to throw this bottle
just give
across
us
the room.
Superman.
Just
Get me all amped up, Adam.
get Tyler Hoechlin to come back and do a Supergirl spinoff called Superman, where you let that
Or
actor,
just do Metropolis and use Tyler Hoechlin's Superman.
yeah,
Why are we not doing that? Why are we focusing on stories beforehand?
It's interesting.
I don't care.
Do you think there's a fear? Do you think there's a fear of television productions, whatever the case may be, like afraid to tackle Batman and Superman because they're these film icons?
No,
that they're like, let's do Gotham, let's do Krypton, let's do Smallville.
I don't know because I mean now Superman has been in Supergirl. Everybody loved him. Everybody thought he was great. Everybody embraced him, even though he wasn't Henry Cavill.
The effects are caught up now with these shows. You can do a superhero TV show.
It's ridiculous to me. It's like if we can do The Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl and now Black Lightning and every other fucking Marvel show that's on Netflix and Hulu and ABC and Freeform, why can we just not do a Superman show?
Whatever loophole they found to get ratings for Gotham is what they're trying to do with this show.
It's on Fox, so it's going to get the ratings are going to blow away anything else that's on the CW. But that's the
thing, though. Fox shows have known been. Yeah, exactly. There's some. Yeah. There's some stuff behind the scenes that like it's weird. There's really no reason for some shows to exist, and they exist.
I'm always open to great stories, and I love these worlds, and I love these characters.
I'll be amazed if I watch the pilot and I'm like, this was better than Gotham.
Yeah, well, yeah, because and again, it took us a while for us to learn the pitch for Krypton, and I'm very excited about that. Yeah, I'm actually saying I would watch this Krypton show.
I'm going to give it a shot
to see where they go with it. Yeah. What a cool premise. What a cool twist.
Premise, yeah.
You got to hit me with something better than this to get me interested in a Superman show without Superman.
Lois Lane and Lex Luthor are going to investigate shit.
I don't care.
How about this? Remember Lois and Clark?
Yeah.
Let's do a investigative reporter show. It's sort of like, I'm sure there's lots of those kinds of shows that have happened. This sort of procedural show revolving around Lois Lane, but after Superman Superman is a part of the show, but it's just Lois. And maybe she and again, kind of like Man of Steel, maybe she knows that Superman is Clark Kent and vice versa. So she's like keeping that secret. She's sitting on the biggest story on Earth, and she's at the same time trying to get to know Clark Kent maybe a little bit, but also like getting exclusives and interviewing Superman. But it's just a season of her at the same time. She's got to go to work every day. She's got to go investigate this corruption in the city, and like Superman's doing shit over here, but it's not about him. It's about Lois Lane. How does she win a Pulitzer? How, what's her relationship like with Perry White and Jimmy Olsen and all these different reporters? And like, how does the world change in investigative journalism after Superman shows up? Like, how does she write that story of like, okay, here's this guy who can fly, and he says he's here to help, and he can see through walls, and he can be everywhere in the city in a heartbeat. It's like, how the fuck does the world change? Let's do the everyman story, which is Lois and the humans working at the Daily Planet. I would watch the shit out of that show.
Honestly, if the premise was that, and even if they waited for the first season to just establish
the build up, and then Clark shows up, and audiences are like, oh my god, and at the very end, Superman shows up, and Perry's just like,
that's the season finale.
Lois, get in here, and she's like, what's going on? What's going on, Chief? And it's just the news is this guy like who catches a plane, and
it'd be great if they paid homage to Superman catching a car.
Yeah.
Right? Like Action Comics 1, just catching a car and people just running away.
There's some criminals or some bank robbers or some like, child slavery ring guys, and Superman just crashes a car into a rock and everyone just like, did that human just lift a car? And then end of season 1.
Is that human wearing his chonies on the outside?
Well, and I think
that would be awesome. If that's the end of the pilot, even, and the whole season is like, Lois, you need to find out who the hell this guy is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it becomes like Jessica Jones, like she's being a reporter.
And kind of ignoring Clark and pushing him aside, like, I don't have any time for you.
Meanwhile, the audience is like, oh, dude, like you don't even the guy. That's him. And then she does figure it out.
Yeah.
And then she decides what kind of a character would decide to keep that secret?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, it's not too late. It's not too late to change this. Metropolis for season 1, end of the pilot. You got to do Superman.
Your writing team is right here.
It's not too late.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the year. Last year was the year of the woman. Keep it going. All right, Jessica Jones, Wonder Woman, Lois Lane. Lois Lane deserves this. Man, I love Lois.
Hector, you work at DC. Make something happen.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, Hector.
Pitch it.
Have I watched this episode? Fast forward.
I will say this sentence into the ether, into the nothingness.
Just inside the building at DC. And hopefully the walls absorb it.
That's the thing that's so frustrating to me is the characters that we already have in these worlds. There's so many creative ways to do it, and it's like to do this and just to completely ignore sort of the impact that Superman has on Metropolis, what he represents, and why Metropolis is now hopeful and inspirational and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Superman plays such a big part in that, and
he is the reason.
It's so hard for me to believe that Metropolis is the same Metropolis when he shows up.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
not.
It's not,
It's
no.
completely changed by the appearance of
The
Superman.
whole world has changed. because of
Exactly, and
Superman.
The villains, it's
That
like
needs
it's
to be felt.
it's
Yeah.
escalation at the
Yeah.
end of Batman Begins to the Dark Knight movie, right? It's
Right.
escalation. That's what
Yeah.
that's
and
what
if you don't
Gordon
have
says.
that,
Villains ramp
if you
it
don't
up.
have that when Superman shows up, and that's already kind of built into that world, then what's exciting about Superman showing up other than now there's somebody who can just defeat them? If there's no
Mhm.
escalation, then to me it's
Mhm.
not interesting.
And again, to me, the story of Superman is like he shows up, and the first thing he kind of does in a lot of versions of the story, he does catch like a plane that is
Yeah,
crashing.
That's his
Right.
big entrance.
That's his big
Right.
entrance into Metropolis
They did
in
it
broad daylight.
Supergirl.
They did it in Supergirl.
It can be done.
And,
it's not
and
a
then
VFX
what
issue.
happens? What happens after that? Superman starts busting up crime, like organized crime and regular crime and street crime and like even corruption. And then back in those old comics, he's beating up wife beaters. He's doing this sort of low level,
Yeah.
very socially aware and oriented
Helping
crime,
the man on the street.
helping the
Yeah.
little guy.
Yeah.
But then it's when the big cats like Lex Luthor are like, this guy's fucking up our operations. We gotta build this huge exosuit. We have to recruit. We gotta do crazy science. We have to. What? He's from where? Okay, I'm gonna get in touch with Brainiac from outer space.
Yeah.
We're gonna team up and we're gonna
And I'm gonna figure out what kind of rocks
that
kill
stuff
this guy.
starts- Yes.
Every season you build, you
Yes.
ramp up, make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and just continue building the relationship between Lois and Clark.
Nah, dude.
Yeah.
Crypto science.
Ah.
Crypto science. It's gonna be LA green screen onto Toronto with episodes of Ghost Hunters in the middle. So you're just gonna have people hunting ghosts, and that's it.
Investigate the world of
Just
physics
that's
science.
it. Crypto
It's so
science
know.
and
frustrating.
Bigfoot.
The city's
Bigfoot's
dark
gonna make an
and
appearance.
bizarre secrets. I don't want.
Loch Ness monster.
I
I'm
don't
calling
want-
it.
Look, some of the comic book storylines of like the Court of Owls is very good and very interesting in the Gotham side. That Gotham has this long history of the Waynes being this
Right,
powerful family,
right.
and they started going back hundreds of years. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't want Metropolis to have these dark secrets. Again, Metropolis is just trucking along. Superman
Yeah.
shows up and changes the game.
Yeah.
Bad guys ramp it up. I don't want the city to be buried on a doomsday, like like the under the city
Yeah,
is like a
there's
doomsday,
a doomsday
monster.
capsule
Found. We
under.
unearthed
We found
That's
something.
been there for thousands of years. Or
good
like
thing in 8 seasons,
some- they
Superman's gonna
found
show
like
up to
some-
kill him.
Yeah, they found like some ancient like Brainiac symbols.
Yeah, some
on the-
Kryptonian
yeah,
bullshit that
yeah,
the city was built on.
Yeah.
Barf. I don't want to see that. Oh, man. And then look, real quick, the City of Tomorrow bullshit, that's after Superman, years and years and years, Brainiac attacks Metropolis, and then some like ensuing fight, the technology of like Brainiac 13 like upgrades the city itself.
Yeah.
So again, even that futuristic,
That's why it's called the
doesn't
City of
happen
Tomorrow.
until, it was called the City of Tomorrow because again, it just represented New York. It just represented the best of humanity.
Exactly. Because it was like the ideal big city.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where all the big shit happens. But
And, yeah.
I don't know. I think we really picked apart the show.
Oh,
we picked
just
it the
wait.
fuck
I'm open
apart.
to it, and
Oh,
I want it
yeah.
to be great, but
Just based on the pitch alone, I'm not.
No.
I'm not that
And
Change
interested.
it to
Hector,
just
like
Lois and I'm
we
in.
talk about it all the time. We don't want a show to suck.
No.
We really,
Never,
really
never,
don't.
Look,
never.
this.
But when you're hitting us with garbage,
the last
it's
thing
like,
I'll say about
huh.
this is this pitch to me felt like the same way when they pitched Gotham to the
Right.
audience, and I read the press release and I went, I don't think this is going to be very good. I've tried to watch as much Gotham as I can. I know there's a lot of fans out
Can't do
out
it.
there.
Can't do
I don't enjoy the show.
Cannot
unfortunately.
do it.
I think it's a
don't enjoy
beautifully
it either.
designed show. I think the cinematography and the production design is great.
They've
Shot
won
in New York,
awards
it's
for those
great.
VFX.
Yeah,
It looks so
Yeah.
good, but in terms of the writing perspective and what it does with the characters and the build-ups and all that, I'm like, I can't.
I was at a small studio for a while, and I worked on a shot for Gotham,
Yeah.
and it was good. Like the
Mhm.
VFX are nothing to sniff at. Like they've got some decent stuff.
Visually, it looks
Makeup,
But there's
costumes,
no. It's just
all
the
of that.
show. Why is the show existing?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I-
great. Woof.
mm.
Speaking of why do things exist? A new Venom trailer is going to be coming soon. Apparently,
Excellent
it
segue,
was
my
already
friend.
rated, which is I'm a little surprised that it's coming this early.
The trailer was rated?
The trailer was rated, yeah. So
like
normally,
all audiences, but will be
yeah, like
a
so.
red band trailer, right?
I don't know if there's gonna be a red band. This trailer was sort of rated sort of for all audiences, so it's very. I would at least assume that this trailer may be coming out in the next week or two. I think premiering with Black Panther is a really good strategic move for Sony to do that. I think it's definitely a good idea to build awareness for the Venom movie.
I
and
really hope.
I'm curious, like how sort of late this idea was sort of conceived. If it was something that they had sort of been planning from the beginning, like Black Panther's a really good place for us to hit hard first.
I guess.
And then obviously with Avengers Infinity War is another opportunity to advertise this movie, but I'm really curious what this first trailer is going to have for us this early.
This needs to be, in a lot of ways, the most impressive trailer attached to Black Panther, because when audiences are sitting there for Black Panther, they're already on board for Infinity War.
Nobody's paying attention to your shit.
They're already on board for Ant-Man. When those trailers come up, because you've got all the fans there, they're going to be cheering. Even though Ant-Man trailer was not the most mind-blowing thing, Venom needs to be the trailer that, like, you better hope you're not laughed at in that packed theater. You know what I'm saying? You better hope that you're not. All the fanboys will be like, "Why?" Like, you're gonna hear that as soon as Sony comes up and it's Venom. You're gonna hear a guy like, "Why are they making this?" I guarantee it.
Yep.
So this trailer needs to be fucking balls to the wall, awesome, to convince that audience that it deserves a seat at the table.
I feel like that audience is really big because I haven't talked to a lot of people that have full confidence in this movie besides Tom Hardy. He's like the only one that's coming out there saying,
Tom Hardy?
I talked to him. Or first name basis. I text him all the time. Tommy.
Tommy.
What's up, Tommy? Hey, buddy. But I don't understand where the momentum for this movie came from. Besides, like, we have the Spider-Verse going and whatever, but to make the decisions that they made, it just makes no sense. And that's why we're at this point now where, like you're right, Hector. If we don't have a fucking fire ass trailer before Black Panther, you're not.
It better make a whole clinch.
Yeah,
the fanboys will have already seen it because it will be online probably before everybody goes to see the movie, and they'll know as soon as that Sony Columbia lady holding the book or whatever comes up on the screen that it'll be the Venom trailer. And if that trailer's not fire, fans are going to be
cut
sitting
your
there
losses. Don't even release the movie.
Because you guys remember the times that we would go to we were in like Hall H at Comic-Con. And they would have like a trailer park. Yeah. Or there was that time that guy's eye got stabbed and they were stalling and just showing trailers. And every time, this was right after The Last Airbender came out, every time an M. Night Shyamalan name came up for like the trailer Devil, people were like, boo! Like, you don't want to be that trailer in a group of trailers where people are like, I've seen this, but I'm excited.
Especially if you're going to go to Comic-Con this summer. I'm sure they're going to bring Venom to Comic-Con, and I'm sure they're going to show something. You definitely want to have the fans on your side. You don't want to go into Hall H and Ruben Fleischer and Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams and all these actors show up, and everyone's like, it's like, we have a clip from the movie, and everyone's like, I don't really care.
Oh boy,
I mean, it's not like that's unheard of.
It's not.
You know, we've been in Hall H all day, and there are some panels that are just like
brutal.
And you're rooting for them, but it's still like, oh, y'all didn't bring it.
Like, oh, you guys didn't plan well.
Yeah. I'm hoping that whatever we get from this show, I think most important thing is going to be tone, and I think it's going to be, to the best of their ability, introducing us to this version of Eddie Brock.
Why do you think Tom Holland's going to be in the trailer? Because you remember when The Incredible Hulk came out in 2008, that as soon as Iron Man came out and was a banger, they had like a TV spot where Tony Stark is in like the Hulk movie coming out in 3 weeks.
Post-credit scene,
So are they going to like sort of go like throw everything and go, let's just put Spider-Man and then just walking around as Peter Parker?
I think it's way too early. I think if that happens, it might happen. I think it also depends on what sort of cameo it is. I think if he's there sort of like in person, then I think it's very possible to have some sort of a cameo in a trailer. But I think if it's just something where he's on screen and there's like a reference like, oh, this web guy, like like some sort of yup, you want to line about it, then I think they're just going to save it for the movie. I don't know. You got to win us over. Han Solo and Venom are in an uphill battle.
Yeah, and this is what's crazy. And we keep saying this over and over. We don't want these movies to suck, but you're not giving us anything to chew on. Like, it's just...
Sure.
Look, if Venom comes out in the fall and it is one of the best superhero movies in the recent years, then fucking fantastic.
Prove me wrong, please.
I hope that it is so good that in the same way that Sony could not even ignore the success of Marvel Studios. So when they had an opportunity to reboot Spider-Man and go, because this thing has just become such a behemoth. I want Venom to be so good that Marvel Studios cannot ignore it and go, you know what? Let's have Tom Holland show up in this next Spider-Man movie. Let's mix it up a little. Let's have Tom Holland. He's going to be a part of the Masters of Evil, and he's going to fight Captain America in some future MCU movie. Like, that's how good that shit needs to be. Do you know what I mean? That Marvel Studios is looking at it like, Sony, you did good on your own.
Tom's in a movie.
Let's do both Toms. We're doing it. That'll be part 2. That'll be Spidey Homecoming 2 or whatever.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Last thing we're going to talk about is so with all the stuff going on with DC, the restructuring, we heard a little bit of a tidbit that DC is at some point in the next few weeks going to be launching a brand new news show We have no details about it. We don't know what's going to be happening with it. All that we know is rumor that it's going to be happening, and there are multiple things that kind of point that that's going to be happening very, very soon. Chris McKay is definitely one of those people who sort of keeps hinting toward it. Every time he's asked about an update on the Nightwing movie, every time he's asked about an update on the Nightwing movie, he's always responding to people and retweeting people. The most recent response that he left was somebody asking about the casting of the movie. And his response was, well, it's too early to talk about casting, but in February, say around Valentine's Day maybe, I should have an update about where everything is with the first Nightwing movie. So,
if you want to get in on this, what are you doing right now, man? You're just shaking your butt?
You got anything to say about Nightwing?
Oh, I'm excited about Nightwing. I want all the Bat family to come in. Maybe we get Batwing.
Yeah. Who's your favorite of? Oh, the Batwing is a lot of people would know him as like the Black Batman, the kind of more recent example of
Black
the Black
Man. As I would call it.
Not to be confused with Blank Man,
right?
Which is another great
It's
superhero
another guy,
movie
right?
entirely.
Yeah.
Iffy, have you had a chance? Have you gone to any screenings? Have you seen Black Panther yet?
No, actually, it's happening. I'm probably gonna there's gonna be a huge meetup with a lot of the different Black nerd groups. They're doing Sunday Best. The Sunday after it releases, I'm gonna try and get in on that. I've been invited to some of the early screenings, but I can't do it because of other obligations. And
man,
it's real burn. It's real burn in
that
the bum.
really has to burn.
Oh yeah, it stings real bad
In all the wrong places.
Yeah.
It's just a couple more days, and the movie will be here.
Yeah.
Where are your expectations at right now, Iffy?
Oh, I just know it's when you walk into a movie, you're like, no matter what happens, I think I'm gonna love this. I feel like with like movies like Coco or like Pacific Rim, you're like, there's no way this movie's gonna let me down.
You've already made your choice. Like Pacific Rim, you're like, I'm already gonna love Pacific. You're either in or you're out.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you're in for Panther.
Absolutely.
100% in.
Do you know people who have seen it though, and like
Talk to them.
Yeah. Good friend Danny Fernandez, Danielle Radford, Paris Lay, all people, friends or supposed friends who went early, used their +1s, not on me.
Not on you.
So,
No.
Think on that.
I'm not using mine on you either. But I'm taking Naeem, so don't get me.
Oh snap! Oh
That's so
snap!
funny. That's so funny.
Hey,
Oh,
prayer
man.
obligation,
You're no
damn
longer
it.
his friend.
Oh,
know.
Iffy's the best. Anyway, Nightwing. Yeah, Nightwing. Okay. I love
mean-
Chris McKay, man.
Yeah,
I think the Lego movie got snubbed for real. It could have been best. It could have been a nomination for best animated feature. I haven't seen the rest of them yet, but I think it absolutely could have been more. I mean, I haven't seen Boss Baby yet.
dude. People have been tweeting at us that like, dude, Boss Baby was dope. I'm like,
I'll watch it, but it's,
I guess I shouldn't talk shit.
Yeah, I
like
haven't
if
seen
I
it yet.
haven't seen the movie yet.
Sure.
But at the same time,
But I've seen I've seen DreamWorks movies to know
Yeah.
that I love half of them and I don't
Right.
like half of them.
right?
And I just saw
exactly.
the trailers for Boss
They're
Baby and I was like,
real
I
hit
think
and
that's
miss.
going to be in this category
Yeah.
over here. But I love my Kung Fu Pandas. I love my How to Train Your Dragons.
Right.
I love Shrek 1, 2, and 4. Don't tell me that I'm being disrespectful.
We don't talk about 3.
I defend Shrek forever after. Like I still
movie's
tell
great.
people like
I agree
it's
with
great.
you.
I
I
gotta
agree
watch
with you.
Boss Baby. I don't know.
What do you?
I guess we have to watch.
So
Boss
with
Baby.
this upcoming news, what are you guys kind of hoping?
Mm.
Because so the whole point of this new news show happening from DC is it's a way for them to control the narrative of what news about their movies gets released publicly. It's more about them going out there and saying, "Look, we're putting the DC news out there. We're DC. If you hear something else,
That's great.
treat it for wherever you want, but just understand that everything that we put out is 100%
It's legit,
factual."
and everything else
Yeah.
is
So,
rumor.
what are you guys hoping that whatever this announcement is in this first episode iteration of the show with Chris McKay, what are you guys hoping that he announces about Nightwing?
Well, I would love for DC and I would love for Warner Brothers to officially name the franchise because
that's what
I
I'm
think
gonna.
that
Yeah.
I think a big thing that
Yeah.
it still bugs me is that the DCEU started as a joke by some snarky writer and it stuck and went. And I'm like, I want Warner Brothers to squash that and be like, this is what our franchise is called.
I don't know why they let it go for so long.
Because maybe it is like we want this to, I don't know. Maybe they all want it to be grouped on whatever and on this thing and to officially go, this is our franchise. And I had a chance to talk to some of the showrunners of the CW shows, and I straight up asked Mark Guggenheim, who's the Arrow guy. I'm like, one of the EPs, one of the showrunners, when I had these guys, when I had a chance to talk to someone, I was like, do you guys say Arrowverse in house, or is there like, do you use
Or
that
is
term
that a
officially,
fan
or is that like a
term?
fan? Yeah, I was like, is that a fan term? What do you call it? And he was like, oh no. He goes, no, yeah, we use it internally. And I think he also said that like they kind of call their whole franchise the Berlanti verse, but
Right.
Berlanti doesn't like that. And I was like, that's good. That's
I
good
mean,
to know.
it
But like,
works. Yeah.
officially in, you know, because I'm a nerd and I'm a comic book nerd and I like my universes named and I like to know where to put it on alphabetically on my
Yeah.
shelf. You know, I don't want it to go Man of Steel, Wonder Woman. You know, like I don't want the franchise to
Right,
start with
right,
M
right.
for Man of Steel. What's the name for the thing?
Yeah.
I don't have Iron Man under I got it under Marvel Cinematic Universe M. You know, I just want to know where to put it on my shelf, y'all. So
Hector,
DC
you are an
Films,
interesting
DC
human
Films,
being.
DC Cinematic Universe. You should see how I organize my.
I know.
I'm sure
Blu-rays.
that most people go to the Actors Blair collection like, what the fuck?
It's
I've been in
straightforward.
I've been in your living room.
Mhm.
I've been in your room.
Mhm.
Like I've seen everything, but I just don't know the amount of detail and attention you've put into
Okay,
putting
well, I'm gonna
everything
I'll
in its
show you
place.
some right now. Look, look.
Oh God, we're gonna be here all day.
People were
gonna
already
be-
like, put it in alphabetical, and I was like, homie, this is
Oh, that's right. I
chronological.
saw that
Yeah.
picture on
These
your
Star Wars
Instagram.
comics are chronological. I'm
That's
like,
right.
the events of Princess Leia happened before Chewbacca, happened before Han Solo, and then the series, and then Darth Vader, and then series volume 2. And I'm like, that's how I roll. So
It makes sense though. It makes sense because if you're gonna go along, like, say you have a child
Mhm.
one day, and you're like, here, start from this side,
Thank
go to
you.
this side, and it
Thank
will
you.
make sense to you.
Yeah.
It makes absolute sense to me. I'm just too lazy to put it in order like that. All my comic books are stacked on top of each other on the bottom of my bookshelf.
So I would love that to kind of coincide with like, and here's Nightwing, and here's where it fits in the timeline. If it isn't just a sequel, and here's what this movie's going to be about. Those kinds of there's just kind of big announcement stuff.
Yeah,
I agree.
Love to hear it.
I think for me, I think the big thing for me, I think that this first episode needs to really, or whatever the announcement officially is, it needs to sort of be them really just going out there and saying,
Setting the record
this
straight.
is the name of our universe.
Boom.
This is the slate. Even if it doesn't have dates, I don't really care. Just say like, these are the movies that are currently in development. Nightwing, got Suicide Squad 2, yada 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 yada.
Wonder
These are
Woman
the-
2, filming in the summer. Boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
This is what we're
Right,
working
This is
on.
what we're filming right now. Shazam just started filming. Blah 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 blah. Here's some concept art, whatever
Yep.
the fuck it is.
Mhm.
And then it's like these are also some potential projects that are in the works, and maybe
Yep.
not revealing exactly what they are, but letting people know like we have several things that we're working on. As we sort of get through the further versions of the show, we'll talk about all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then like letting the filmmakers actually come on and talk about these
That's
would be
important.
great.
these are the
Yes.
visions for our movies.
That would be so great.
I don't really want necessarily to see. I would love to see Jeff Johns come in and talk about like this is our vision for DC as a company in terms of the movies. But then I want to see, I want to see Chris McKay come and talk about Nightwing. I want to see the director David Sanders talk about Shazam. I want to see Patty talk about her vision for Wonder Woman 2.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
I want to
Mhm.
know.
I want to see Zachary Levi talk about
yeah.
why he said yes to this.
Exactly.
Why is he
Yeah.
doing
And
Billy
it doesn't
Batson
have to be
Shazam?
long excerpts.
Yeah.
Like it could literally be 30 seconds. But
Yeah.
I just want.
It's just like when I was. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought.
No, I mean, all I was going to say was just, I just want for everyone who is a fan of DC and the movies
Mhm.
or not to now going forward have a clear understanding of this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
It may
hyped.
change in the future a little bit,
Yeah.
but right now, as of today, whatever day that video is published or shot, this
Yeah.
is where we are at.
Yeah, it's absolutely, and it's their own way because we know that Marvel is a hype machine, and they do it in different ways. If
Yeah.
they come up with this channel where they control all the narratives and they control their own hype that they build up, I'll subscribe to that channel. Hell yeah, like I'll follow it. If you're telling me that you can get scoops like you're saying with the directors, with the people who were involved with creating this movie, I'm all in it. Like I love that kind of stuff. It's why I joined film, like why I started the film industry in the first place, because I like that behind the scenes stuff.
Totally.
Like tell me why you believe this movie is going to be great,
Right.
and I'm going to listen and I'm going to be there.
And no one's asking them to, because I think we live in a very different world. I think now because we have so much access and information out there for how these movies
Yeah.
are made.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of at the point where, you know what, let fans have a little more access.
Yeah,
Guide
dude, why
them through
not?
the process of what it takes to make one of these movies.
Right.
Let the fans really understand what your vision is, what your intention is, why you're making this, and why it's going to be a special experience. And not
Absolutely.
just try to keep everything hidden and we'll deal with it when we want to deal with it. We'll address it when we want to address it.
Yep.
Just address it head on and say, like, the things that you've heard, some of these things are true, most of these things are not. Here's what we can tell you. Ba,
Yeah.
ba, 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 bum,
Bing
facts.
bang bong facts.
Good.
Yeah, Hype. That's what they. I mean, there's no hype right now. I've read so many comments where people are just like, you know what, I'm a DC fan, but I am not hyped for anything coming out in the future.
That's what's so cool about things like, you know, like the Star Wars show. I love watching that.
Yeah,
it's not always focused on the movies, but it gets me excited for Rebels and the comic books and the video games. Like I'm super excited for Star Wars VR and AR experiences that are coming in the future.
Yeah,
and I think you like. Marvel doesn't even do that, and I think Marvel should do it too.
Right? Yeah,
they've got some like YouTube stuff.
Yeah,
but it's not like one centralized place for everything.
And that was the thing I was going to mention. That's like the one thing that Marvel does really well is when it comes to time to announce like we're doing Infinity War, Spider-Man's going to be in it, and we're going to finally unite the Avengers with the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're the ones announcing, and they
utilize, and not that other companies don't, but they definitely know how to utilize places like Comic-Con and D23.
Absolutely,
and
Facebook,
those presentations are just.
Even when they gave that one. What even was it? I guess it was like a press junket or something. They rented out the El Cap Theater.
And announced Phase 3.
And I'm like, that's great. It's simple things that you can do, but I feel like they're not happening in the DC universe, which sucks because I hate to just say things like, "Oh, DC fans will get a kick out of this," because we're all DC fans, like every single one of us. But for some reason in our head, we've built this divide and I think it's because we're not hyped for any of this stuff that's coming out at this point. There's stuff coming out, but
I think
there's no momentum behind it,
especially with some of these big movies and maybe with some of the TV shows. The TV shows are pretty good at like interacting with fans and that kind of thing. I think the comic books, the people over at DC, and it's not just because I have a chance to go and visit them every once in a while, but like I really do think that in the past few years they've been very like social media aware. They're all of their writers and artists and editors and stuff are constantly and the same is true even with Marvel. They're on Twitter and they're like, hey, here's the pencils for that Brian Michael Bendis Superman art, and here's this and here's that, and they're making these announcements and getting people hyped. And the thing I would love to see is like when I was at like a Robert Kirkman panel and he was talking about Walking Dead and all his projects. I wanted to know about the Invincible movie, and all I wanted to know was like, tell me about the pitch that Seth Rogen and his partner Evan Goldberg like. What was it about them talking about Invincible that you were like, these are the guys? I want to hear that story for all the directors coming up in these DC. I want to hear. Who's directing Shazam?
David Sandberg.
I want to hear David Sandberg come in and again, not just sort of read it in a little blurb. I want to see him be passionate about Shazam and get and then him be like, yeah, and I was doing this research and this comic is dope and this comic is dope and that's kind of where I'm drawing some stuff, and just get people hyped.
That's how you build hype.
Chris McKay talking about Nightwing. I want to see that shit. What does Nightwing mean to you? Well, when he was doing Lego Batman press, he was talking about
and show me some geek cred and be like, hey, in this issue right here, I really liked what he did.
Here's my Catwoman tattoo. Like he has one.
Here's my Nightwing tattoo across my chest.
Right?
That stuff's dope.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes of this thing and what these announcements are going to be. And I hope it's a little bit of everything that we talked about tonight. I mean, obviously, you're going to keep the things under wraps, the things that you want under wraps. But I think we're now living in a time where, I think you really just need to absorb your community, absorb your audience, and really just help control the narrative so your movies everyone can sort of have a one place that they can go to as a resource and say, these are the facts.
Yeah, we're doing. Absolutely.
So, super excited. We'll see what happens, though. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys comment below on all the topics that we covered. How do you feel about potentially DC doing another new show where they're going to control the narrative of all their movies? Venom trailer, Han Solo. I hope we're going to be doing a trailer reaction for this very, very soon.
Are you excited about a Metropolis show?
Yeah.
Do you love Gotham? And
what do you think of our pitch?
How could what's your pitch? What's one thing you could be like? How are you feeling about it? I don't know.
Do you love Donald Glover more than I do? Because you probably don't. You probably don't.
Oh man,
I already have that pink suit.
Do you really?
No, I don't.
You better wear it next week. Hector, where can everybody find you on the internet?
Find me on the internet at Hector is Funny, and be sure to check out the 500 Greatest Films podcast. People seem to really like it. That's Superman Returns episode.
You guys getting good traction?
It's getting pretty good tracks.
Are you cracking your nuts?
Cracking some nuts on them tracks. But it's dope. Super fun. Keller and I are watching a movie every week. On Monday,
Keller's
we got an episode coming out about Jailhouse Rock. The Elvis film I've never seen.
Oh, interesting.
This is what's cool about this list. It's like, I've never seen this movie, known about it my whole life.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about it.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
You can catch me listening to Hector's podcast at L_Santo Taco.
And gonna be on it soon. And gonna be on it later.
Gonna be on it sooner.
Months from now.
In October. You can just find me at Adam Havoc on all social medias. Subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/Adam Havoc. Shameless plug.
Oh, that's right. You do.
And
check out
we'll catch you
Universe.
Duh.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Oh, yeah,
Check out
Cineverse.
Cineverse is back. Second episode. We're going to be talking about 3 movies that I'm very excited to talk about.
Okay,
Got a chance
okay.
to watch them. They're
That's
really,
right,
really
you
good.
did.
Shape
you
of
did.
Water.
And
Shape
check
of
out
Water,
the merch
Call
on
Me-
Amazon.
Shape of Water, Call Me by Your Name, and
Boss Baby.
Detroit.
And Detroit.
What?
I'm sorry.
Get out of here. You're garbage, Hector.
It's Oscar nominated. Gotta watch it.
Oh, boy.
You guys gotta do that episode. Watch all the animated
Okay, let's
movies.
cut it off. This is getting messy.
All
Go,
right.
go, go. Lucas, just cut it off. Cut it off, Lucas.